myself if I think something is true. You know, when we talk about Trinidad and Tobago, often we say, oh, we're not innovative and our businesses, and that is absolutely not true. I think a lot of businesses are doing things. What we are doing, institutions, businesses, we're probably doing quietly. And let's face it, people, who didn't have to innovate to get here at 8 o'clock this morning? I know that I did, okay? So, what is innovation? Is it a buzzword? Is it an imperative? Is it both? Do we even have a common understanding of what innovation is? These are just some definitions from 15 experts in the field pulled randomly off the internet. But I think what is at the core of innovation, however you define it, is your ability to really create value, to deliver that value, to capture value back, and to sustain value creation and capture in a very dynamic environment. The Global Innovation Index, this is the more bureaucratic definition that they use as a development agency. But if you look at what they're really saying here, they're saying two things. You've got to differentiate, and more important than differentiating, arguably, is you have to implement it. And this is where a lot of us can get stuck, that we have all these great innovative ideas. It's like, how do we really push forward with making them a reality? So to provide a little context, why do we even have to do it? Well, you know as well as I do that there are a lot of factors that are really pushing us and reshaping the way we do business, the way we live our lives, the way we think about things, even reshaping our worldview. So in terms of our survival as businesses, and this is not just Trinidad and Tobago, this is across the globe, we really are finding it much more difficult to sustain success in a high velocity world. So let's look at a few of the contributing factors. We have very fast technology movements, the fourth industrial revolution, and all these seemingly incomprehensible technologies that we're not sure what to do with. But they are driving a lot of change in the way business is conducted and services and products are delivered. We know that. The way opinions are shaped, the way people are able to frame a narrative on what our business is like, just like going online and giving a comment. So we know these things. We also know that we're having a real change in our demographics. A change in our demographics because we have the rise in the millennials, we have this Generation Z that is right behind them. We also have an aging population, a lower birth rate, a lot of migration. So what is that doing? That is changing behaviors, and it is changing the way that needs and wants of consumers are being created, and the way the expectations of those consumers in terms of how firms are able to deliver on those things. Then we have the whole issue of climate. Climate, we know, we've just seen it in the Bahamas, can be devastation. But it's also putting a lot of pressure on our planet in terms of our ability to generate enough food. And Lord knows in Trinidad, we know about not having enough water at times, and even our ability to keep the lights on. So these are factors that are also shaping a need for innovation. And then finally, globalization. Now, we see some young people in the audience today, but I was actually already a graduate the last time that our economy headed south, the great 1980s. And I was actually working for a manufacturer at that time, and a lot of them dusted off their passport and their suitcase, and they went out into the Caribbean and they got new markets. And they started building foreign exchange. So a young economist from our organization came to chat with me. He was writing a book about the private sector in Trinidad and Tobago. And he said, so Vashtie, what's different? What can we do now that's different? I said, well, we had a solution in the 1980s, but we didn't, I said, if you recall, we didn't have the phenomena of globalization then. Well, he looked at me and he said, well, I wasn't born in the 1980s, so that shut me up for a little bit. But this is true. This phenomenon of globalization has created opportunities, yes, more markets, but it's created a lot more complexity. And it's created a lot more competition in the markets that we dominate and in the markets that we are going out there. So we have all these factors. We know we have to innovate to survive. So how are firms doing this? Well, before we get to Trinidad and Tobago, I thought I would give you a very short look at what 100 innovation executives in the US are looking at. And this is from a 2019 study by Brett Waters, coming out of Stanford University. So the first thing they're looking at is key market and macro trends. And you'll see the top ones there being consumer behavior that we referenced before, which is the here and now imperative of today's consumer. They don't want to come to your store. They want it on their couch. You see the ads of people buying a car sitting on their couch, right? So then, everybody wants everything now, and they want it customized, but you have to mass produce, so you have this phenomenon of mass customization. So this is a very important trend that is driving the way we think about what we need to do to innovate. The second thing is products as a service. Now, anybody in here buys clothes from Express? Yeah, you do. I can see it, okay? Express, now you can rent your outfits. You don't have to buy them. They'll send you a box, wear them as long as you want, rent them, and then give it back. But we have products as a service right here in Trinidad and Tobago. Our own Dean Aiken stood in a forum by the predecessing organization, the BDC, and said, all I'm selling is an experience. He's not selling a costume or the food or the drinks or the security. He's selling an experience. Right? So that is another trend that we have to look at. And the third one we're looking at is sort of like data. And you know how invasive people are now? It's like you can't put anything. You want to put your random thoughts online, all of a sudden it's a thing, right? How do we really guard against data privacy? So these are just an example of some of the trends. Then of course we look at technology. I'm not going to go into this too much because I'm not a technologist. We have a lot here and I don't want to embarrass myself. But one of the things that we do know is that when companies are looking at technology, we're no longer looking at, we need more data. No, we need to know how technology can dive into that data and provide us insights and allow us to predict what's going to happen. And they're also looking at innovation methodologies, right? Because innovation, because we all have to do it, many companies are looking at a structured process. And the top one is the design thinking. But no matter what process you use, there's some very simple guidelines that you have to follow. One is you don't have a solution looking for a problem. Second, you start with the human experience. And in our online worlds today, sometimes we've forgotten a little thing like empathy. And really being able to put the actual person at the center of what we're trying to create and what we're trying to innovate. And that's something that we need to learn how to do it again. And one other aspect is, of course, the whole issue of diversity, which in Trinidad and Tobago we are extremely good at. But are we leveraging it in the best way possible? Are we really bringing everybody's views into the mix? So quickly, because I'm running out of time, let's just zoom in now to Trinidad and Tobago. So in the Global Innovation Index, they say that as a high-income country, we are underperforming in terms of our innovation. And why is that? Well, there are a number of factors. Number one, the type of information that is driving these indexes is not always readily available. For example, we reported zero in export of cultural and creative services, which we know is not true. We just not measuring it at this point in time to be able to report it. Secondly, our market size. Now, in the good days, when oil and gas was flowing through the pipe and prices were high, we did a lot of transfers and subsidies, and this buoyed our domestic economy to the point that many of us thought we could just stay here, export a bit to Barbados, Jamaica, and we're good. Now that we are no longer able to buoy up the economy, we really realize it's pretty small and we can't survive this way. The second aspect is business dynamism. Are firms able to embrace change? Now we have a lot of mature firms in Trinidad and Tobago, and the data tells us that it's more difficult for established firms to innovate. However, when they do innovate, they generally have the capital to implement. Startup firms, much more hungry and able to disrupt, but often they fall into the trap that they can't access the capital they need to really get the growth trajectory in the time frame that they need. And the third and last thing I want to talk about at the macro level is really the ecosystem. We have organizations like Export TT, we have Cariri, we have the Exim Bank, we have institutions that are set up, but there's a lack of coordination in terms of how these organizations are delivering to the business community a kind of integrated suite of services. And the Lord knows that in these times we can't afford duplication and lack of coordination. So moving to the micro level, if you'll just permit me a couple minutes. When we look at firms in Trinidad and Tobago now, we always say we don't have any data. In this case, we do have data. Right? We have data for the Caribbean, and we have a publication by a same young economist, Jitendra Kadam. If you're interested, download it from our website. It's called Oil and Gas Smothering Private Sector in Trinidad and Tobago. And he looked specifically at innovation. And what we saw is that in the mighty Trinidad and Tobago, with our industrial base, our firms are spending less than 1% of sales on R&D, 1% of their sales. Their Caribbean counterparts are spending 4.7% of their sales on R&D. At a GDP level, we are spending 0.4 of 1%, less than half a percentage of our GDP on R&D. And in Caribbean, they're spending 1.2% of their GDP. So this is an area that we really need to look at. And we know that in the mighty US and Europe, a lot of this R&D is still powered by public expenditure, directly or indirectly. So this is an area we really need to tap into. We know that our firms are using their own funds to innovate, generally speaking, which is another constraining factor. And we know that the focus has really been on equipment, licenses, organizational restructuring versus product and service innovation in the main. Now, although this may reduce cost and increase efficiency, it may not drive growth. It may allow us to compete, but it will not make us big and bad and the next Uber of the Caribbean. And the last factor, which probably is not going to be as popular, and this is my personal view and research here, is that chief executives and managers, they have 24 hours in a day just like everybody else. But when we have an environment, we have to look at our time and our opportunity cost. And when things like crime and traffic and the hassle of getting forex and bureaucracy are absorbing the time and energy of the leaders of our business sector and leaders of our institutions that are driving this innovation in Trinidad and Tobago, there's a limit to how much time they really got and how much oomph they have left to really innovate. So we really need to think about these things and see how we can address them. That's the elephant in the room. So as IDB Lab, I'll just conclude by briefly telling you about two projects that we have, one in execution and one that is coming that can help with innovation. My colleague at Cariri is going to tell you a little bit about the innovation advisory services, so that if you have an idea and you want to carry it through a commercial path to be able to pitch it to an investor, maybe a big firm, maybe a foreign one, maybe a local one that has the capital that will work with you either licensing, franchising, or outright acquisition to get that commercialized. They have a program that will help you to do that, and it is adapted from the Danish Technology Institute. They've been doing this for 10 years. It works. Kariri's team are really great at this. And the good news is that in 2020, with the support of the European Union, we will be establishing with Kariri a project called Shaping the Future of Innovation. And this is going to feature two things that may be of interest to you. One, we're going to have an innovation fund for scaling innovation. It's going to be a grant fund, and we have about 80 million euro to invest over a 3 to 4 year period. Now, you have to be a serious business to really be able to get that with a great and really innovative idea. And the second thing is we will be supporting a program to link students, graduate students, and put them into private firms to help them with specific research and innovation projects on a maybe 6-month basis to kind of close out the gap. So with that, I'm really sorry I went over my time. I want to thank you for your attention and encourage all of you. I mean, I don't have to get up every day and run a business. I really salute you what you're doing, and to the institutions that really support this, and we hope to